it's me. And for those who don't know who me is, my name is Kristianna. I am a beauty lover and creative hustler here on YouTube. I also live in Philadelphia and I am a Jersey girl. And so I wanted to put my 2 cents in on what it has been like living in Philadelphia. And so I'm doing well, it's not a get ready with me. I'm getting ready, but it's not a get ready with me. Yeah, but here's my 2 cents. Okay, so what brought me to making this video just about Philly and me in Philly, because I am a Jersey girl who's been living in Philly for about 3 years now. Although I have been living in Philly for 3 years, I've been working and organizing and doing activist work in Philly about 6 years, 7, a long time. And I don't even want this brush. Here we go. See, I'm distracted now. I'm picking up the wrong stuff. This isn't even the foundation I want to use. See? This is exactly why this is not a get ready with me. This should be the right stuff. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I've been in the city a really long time. I just had a lot of different circumstances in which I chose to stay in New Jersey before I decided to finally take the leap. Okay, so that's a little bit of background on me. And what brought me to make this video was in me returning to YouTube and wanting to get back on my YouTube game. I was really interested in seeing what Philly YouTubers are already out there. Is there room for collaboration? Like, who's doing the damn thing out here? And so I started to search in YouTube, like Philly bloggers, vloggers, lifestyle vloggers, makeup people, like all kinds of stuff I started to search for as it pertains to Philly. And I was not having much luck. So in my search though, I did find 2 people who are currently living in Philly, talking about their experiences in Philly, yada yada. And I felt like both of them, because the girls were from small towns or whatever, there was like a little bit of a taint in the way that they spoke about the city. But for the most part, anyone talking about Philadelphia is just like passing through, which I also thought was really interesting. Like, people don't live here, they just come here, visit, they pass through, was kind of like the energy I got. And so I just wanted to come and share my 2 cents. So 5 major reasons I love Philadelphia, or maybe we'll call these the pros, in my opinion, of living in Philadelphia. I don't even know why I keep saying Philadelphia, because I don't normally say Philadelphia, I usually say Philly. But okay, here we are. So one of my most favorite things about living here is the like overall sense of community, from football or whatever other sports to like mass protests and picket lines. There's just so much community. When people really care about something here, they go all in, they go hard, and they do it together. And I'd never experienced that anywhere. And I honestly, I just feel like it's really special the way that people gather here for whatever the common cause is. And I just feel like there aren't too many spaces that are like that, places that are like that. Now, someone did talk about, actually both of the girls that I watched said a few words on the rudeness of Philadelphians. And so like I don't have too much to say on that because I'm from New Jersey. I never really noticed if anyone here was rude because, you know, I'm from Jersey. We get down too. These girls were kind of like small town folks. And so I can imagine being taken aback because this ain't that. Another thing I really like about Philly is the overall landscape, meaning like the way that some parts of the city are super like happening and then like crowded or just like really city like. I'm trying not to say like kind of like New York, but it's like super city like. And then there are parts of the city that are really quiet and suburban, especially if you've spent time out west in West Philly, Southwest Philly. It gets spacious the further you like go out. Super Northeast is kind of spacious. There are ways to like be able to like live in the city but like have that low-key suburban vibe if super city feeling life is not for you. And I really like the diversity of the buildings and the houses, and so like whatever you're really looking for, you'd be able to find it here. I also really love the food and shopping situation out here. Whether you're like, you know, late night heading out to the food trucks out on Girard, or maybe hitting up like a local restaurant. There's still a lot of like low-key local mom and pop restaurants still like in existence here. And obviously there's still like the big box restaurants as well. And so you really just have your pick. Especially in Center City, there's a lot of really interesting coffee shops, holes in the walls where you find like the best coffee. Of course, there's a Starbucks like on every other corner if you are committed to, you know, corporate lattes. Okay, so the trash man is outside. I can hear him. So, for me as an artist, someone who likes to make, I hope you guys can still hear me. Maybe this should go on my cons list. I don't know, because this is really loud. But as an artist, I feel like this city really gives a lot of room for inspiration, like to be inspired. There's always so much to look at. There's so much art here. There's so much music here. So many underground spaces. You don't even have to go to like the big art museum to see art. You can go to some of these local art shows. There's always an art show, a poetry slam, music, like a live music venue. Of course you have like your corporate, or I don't want to say corporate, but like, you know, like you can go to a Warm Daddy's if you want and like listen to music while you eat your food, or, you know, you can go to more of like a local space, coffee shops that do live music. I feel like there's so much art and there's so much room for people who do art. I go to a lot of art shows to sell my handbags and earrings and stuff. And people are just like welcoming, and people are really encouraging too, to support your art. And I think ultimately my favorite thing about living in Philly, and I think a lot of people will appreciate it, is like, I feel like I can be my full self here. Whether that changes from day to day is a different thing, but there's like nothing stopping me from like liking what I want to like, doing what I want to do, wearing what I want to wear. Like, this city is so eclectic and just like has so many different types of people. You can come here, like if you're like from a small town like me, you can come here and just decide you want to be like, you want to be yourself. And whatever that means, you can come here and do that, and people will love you. You will find your crew to do whatever. And I think that is what makes this city so beautiful. So many people coming together from all walks of life, riding the damn train. Now, I kind of want to back up a little bit, and go back to the piece about, you know, me living here. Like I said before, I'm from Jersey. I live here in Philly. I have been doing work to support people who live here for a really long time, and after a certain point, it only made sense that I'd move here. And so I'm a poor Black woman. Like, in my opinion, I don't have what you would necessarily need to be a gentrifier. And what it means to be a gentrifier is another conversation for another day. But I will say the things that I kind of like wrote down as cons of this city all stem around the plaguing that is gentrification. This city is in the middle of a housing crisis. For those who don't know what a housing crisis is, the most basic way I can explain this is, okay, so because Philly is so cool and hip, a lot of young folks started to move back into the city after their parents moved out to the suburbs when they had them, and are like ultimately buying up properties that belong to like Black and brown neighborhoods, turning the properties inside out and charging more, and ultimately like pushing Black and brown people out of spaces. And these days, the housing competition, and you know what? I won't even just leave it at Black and brown people. Poor people are struggling, because there are a lot of, depending on what part of the city you go to, there are a lot of areas in which poor white folks are struggling. Opioid crisis. Struggling. So I won't even bring it to race. I'll keep it economic for this one. But there's a lot of competition for housing, because the cost of housing has gone up a lot. This also opens up a lot of room for really crappy landlords to get away with a lot. I've had some really crappy landlords in my time here, and that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. But I wrote here, housing crisis, the cost of living, the homelessness problem as a result of that, the competition for housing, the crappy landlords, the pothole situation, because the potholes here are out of control, the parking wars, because so many places are overpopulated, because now they're making these housing units that are stacking people on top of each other, like using the airspace, and so there's not necessarily like parking space, and so you have neighbors like fighting each other for parking. And the amount of traffic in this city is ridiculous, mostly because there is so much construction happening. Every other block there's construction happening, because they're like building and making room for more housing to stack more people on top of each other. And so that can be really frustrating in your daily commute. It's almost better to take public trans. And so I guess that's another pro there, that the public trans is pretty good. But overall, the city, I feel like the filth level is kind of getting up there. Like, there's a lot of really like dirty areas, like trash. We're talking like, you know, because of the homelessness situation. And so like, I don't blame homeless people or people who are out doing crime for a lot of the results of that stuff, because ultimately it comes from like the fierce competition and opportunities for even work in the city, work that would lead to housing and not being homeless. And so that is scary, because it is becoming harder and harder for folks to even stay employed or be able to have jobs that will pay them enough to be able to support themselves. And that's like a cross-country issue, but it is something that I didn't think about until I moved to Philly, and so I felt like I should mention that. But yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts. Yeah, but overall, like, I don't even really like talking smack about Philly like that, because I love it here so much. I know people always ask me like if I plan to like live here forever, will I buy a house here, blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, I don't know, y'all. I'm just living, okay? I'm just living paycheck to paycheck like everybody else, so that's that on that. I hope you guys found this interesting. I know I found some of these other videos interesting, so maybe y'all go check those out too. This one girl had me cracking up. She was saying, you know, how her grandmother called her one day to tell her about this hitchhiking robot. Apparently there's a hitchhiking robot who had traveled the world and like seen all these really great places, and he decided he was gonna like hike through the US, and starts off in Boston, and by the time he gets to Philly, he like gets his ass kicked and destroyed, and they had to shut down the robot. Yeah. R.I.P. hitchhiking robot. It's not funny, but like I giggle a little bit every time I think about that damn robot. I was like, yo, I believe that happened here in Philly. Definitely. Okay, I'm back. So I hope you guys are enjoying the mix of videos I'm doing for Vlogmas. Some of my videos have been sitting down, some of them are vlog style. I just want to mix it up because I just generally miss making all kinds of videos, and so I'm just taking this opportunity to do that. So if you're into this, maybe not all the videos, maybe some of the videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stick around. I really appreciate it.